For business, and Sandra Fenu has joined me in the studio. Hello, Sandra.
Yes, Israel. Good evening. It's Friday.
Yeah, man, I like your fabric.
Thank you. It's within.
Okay.
Grateful to you within. And we'll be talking about the pension scheme because there have been calls for a review of the law, but the regulator is saying, no, we don't want that. So I'll be telling you more in business.
All right.
All right, good evening. My name is Sandra Sinamap, and as always, I'm here for business. The National Pensions Regulatory Authority is rejecting calls for a review of the pension laws to improve contributors' benefits. It follows concerns the current deduction structure makes most workers worse off when they retire. There's more in the following report filed by George Biafe.
Recent data from the Social Security and National Insurance Trust SNIT showed that significant number of contributors on their books earn less than 400 Ghana cedis gross salary. This actually impacts negatively on their pension benefits. But speaking on the business edition of PM Express, Director General of SNIT, Dr. Ofori-Tinkran, said he support calls for reviewing the laws so that contributors can benefit more from their deduction.
We have to have a serious conversation about what income streams you are insuring, just so that everything can be put in perspective and blame can be put where it is due, right? Okay. Because, listen, look, there's a reason why people are trying to separate allowances and so on. Yeah. I mean, for the employer, they have to pay the matching funds on it, and then they have to pay taxes on it, because some of these allowances are even not taxed. So it comes at another cost to the employer. And then for the for the employees who may be a little short-sighted, they may say, oh, don't take the additional 5% or 5.5% off my, because I need it now. But we need to know that they have to plan for the future. Retirement, whether you like it or not, will come.
But Chief Executive of the National Pensions Regulatory Authority, Ifuda Takrofi, doesn't think that reviewing the laws now may help with the situation.
I believe that maybe we need to get the law to work a little bit and then begin to see, because 2020 is actually where the first batch of those who came under Act 76 as amended will be going on mandatory retirement. So, I mean, we shouldn't throw the baby away with the bathwater.
But when I look at speaking on the same program, senior fellow at the economic think tank, the Institute for Fiscal Studies, Leslie Mensah, said reform should also target the informal sector while addressing the issues with the Tier 1 and 2.
Meanwhile, the country's informal sector is to see a boost in various pension products offered by service providers. This will be achieved by the use of new technology, the switch, introduced by the World Bank in collaboration with the National Pensions Regulatory Authority. World Bank Country Director is Frank-Pierre Laporte.
It's in many countries, and we are hoping that Ghana can be, as I said earlier, a pioneer in this respect. We have a trust fund that is financing this activity. But beyond this activity, the whole issue of pension coverage is a broader issue, because it's, on the one hand, we want to be sure that in covering as many people as possible, we are addressing the issue of poverty also. But at the same time, as you know, the financial sector needs to be modernized, and the more that we can support the modernization through technology.
Some financial stakeholders have called on government to be conscious of its borrowing trends to ensure fiscal discipline and managing its expenditures. They say this will prevent the country from eventually slipping into distress levels. That's more in the following report.
As the finance minister gears up to present a mid-year budget review to Parliament, the Africa Forum and Network on Debt and Development, AFRODET, has, at a stakeholder engagement in Accra, called on government to make conscious efforts to manage its mounting debts. The forum was attended by policy groups from across Africa and organized by Grassroots Africa. A lecturer at the Economics Department of the University of Ghana, Dr. Apiakobi, was concerned about government borrowing, saying government should borrow what the economy can absorb.
It affects the ability of the government to borrow again. It affects the credibility of the financial management of the country. And if your credit scores or credit ratings are downgraded, it affects your ability to borrow on the international market, which we find it very difficult always to get. You understand? So the levels must manage so that we don't reach the unsustainable levels.
A representative of Aphrodite, Yongon Theophilus, said all African countries should endeavor to abide by the African Charter that serves as a guide for countries to stay within a range of borrowing. He emphasized that citizens should hold the government accountable for every money borrowed on their behalf.
Holding forums like this, we need to discuss with all stakeholders. We need to set up, like for instance, we at the level of Africa, we have a borrowing charter, which we want every other African country to implement the principles of the borrowing charter. We believe that at that level we will be able,
The forum concluded that government implement a comprehensive policy framework that directly enhances development effectiveness in the continent. Fred Duhos reports for Joy Business.
In other news tonight, a cost-benefit analysis of vegetable cultivation in the country has revealed, despite growth in recent times, domestic production of vegetables does not meet current demand. According to the 2019 Horticultural Business Opportunities Report, the country still depends on imports to meet total consumption requirements of the essential horticultural foods, despite having the potential to produce in large quantity. Bismarck Awusa was at the Fruit and Vegetable Fair and has come through with the following report.
According to the first Horticulture Business Opportunities Report, production of vegetables has been increasing annually, yet demand still outweighs supply. The report further reveals that the country has a good climate to support an all-year-round vegetable cultivation. Despite this, only a few areas have been actively involved in the production value chain. Joop van den Broek is the vegetable advisor at Hortifresh, a horticultural agency responsible for the report.
I think the total fruit and vegetable sector here in Ghana is more than 1 billion, if you look at domestic as well as export. And the opportunities that we see is both again for exports and domestic sector. Ghana is still importing more than $100 million in tomatoes, in onions. And we see huge opportunities for farmers here, for companies here to produce these tomatoes and onions locally. If really these recommendations are taken up, not only by farmers but I think also by the government of Ghana, with planting for food and jobs, helping farmers with the right seeds, then Ghana can produce more than 50 tons, more than 60 tons of onions per hectare.
The 4-day Hortifresh Fruit and Vegetable Fair, which ended today, sought to establish a sustainable and internationally competitive fruit and vegetable sector that contributes to inclusive economic growth, food and nutrition security in Ghana and neighboring countries. The event featured an award ceremony for some companies in the horticulture space.
This is really a surprise because coming here, we didn't know we were going to win an award. We're just doing our best.
Greenhouse Training Center and vegetable producer Agritop emerged the overall best exhibitor. Bismarck Awusa, Joy Business.
Meanwhile, agri-communication firm Isoko Ghana is predicting a hike in prices of foodstuff for the month of July. According to Isoko, although prices are expected to remain high, the percentage increase will be less than what we experienced in June. Here's an outlook for the month of July. That's all for business for now with me, Sandra S. and I'm up and I'll be back.